killing a journalist because what they write is usually something that we associate with happening in Saudi Arabia or Russia or Mexico. So when Jeff German, the Las Vegas Journal Review reporter, was effectively assassinated, stabbed to death, horrifically awful, and our condolences to his friends, family, and colleagues at the Review Journal, and all reporters in positions where they're taking risk to print the truth or publish the truth. We were surprised to find that the coverage of the crime met a certain narrative that was consistent with the left wing. When we look at what happened in Mr. German's death, he was stabbed to death horrifically. The coverage after that indicates a complete ignorance, or at least to downplay what political party he was from. And this killing, this awful killing, comes on the heels of President Biden's speech in Philadelphia a week ago, where he labeled MAGA Republicans as a threat to democracy. In other words, if you believed in borders, you believed in putting America first, you believed in cutting back on spending, if you believed that you needed an ID to vote, other things like that, that you were a threat to democracy. But let's take a look at the coverage and find out how prominently they were eager to point out what party the offender was from. He was an elected official. How hard was it to find out what party he was associated with? Let's take a look. So let's start with our friends in CNN. Slain Las Vegas journalist had his alleged killer's DNA underneath his fingerprints, prosecutor tells judge. How far do you have to go down this CNN article to find out that Clark County Public Administrator Robert Tellis, 45, was a Democrat? I'm not sure if they ever mention it, actually. Yeah, I don't think they mentioned it at all, at least in this recorded, or at least in this published update from, this was published last night. It's Friday morning now. How about NPR? Good old NPR. Here is the county sheriff at a press conference. You have to go down in the NPR article to the 11th paragraph to find out that he's a Democrat. To the 11th paragraph. Washington Post. Here we go, Washington Post. I think Washington Post does a little bit better. I think they mention it in the, there it is, I highlighted it actually, in the 6th paragraph. In the 6th paragraph. New York Times, wow, New York Times, they mentioned it in the 5th paragraph. Notice that all of these articles are always leading with the fact that he's some type of public administrator, public official, elected official, but never, ever in the headline or in the subhead or in the lead paragraph or even in the 2nd paragraph do they mention that he's a Democrat. No, in the New York Times, you're going to go down to the 5th paragraph. Mr. Tellis, commoner, Democrat, who lost election and primary in June. So just as a quick backdrop, you probably already know this, that Mr. German, the reporter, the victim here, had been writing a series of articles about Mr. Tellis and the work environment at the county office where he's an elected Democrat, or was up until recently. And of course, Mr. Tellis is innocent and until proven guilty. And all of this is allegedly, of course. But the news coverage is not allegedly. The news coverage is what it is, right? We can see that right in front of us. USA Today, I did not see a mention of his political affiliation in USA Today. It might be here, but I can't be bothered to read USA Today. This is not to say that a Republican could not have committed this crime, but a Democratic candidate or a Democrat, elected Democrat, committed this crime in the shadow of President Biden's speech labeling MAGA Republicans enemy of democracy, enemy of the state, like that movie with Gene Hackman and Will Smith. a Republican could have committed this crime. As you know, on the distribution of political ideology, as you get to the far extremes of the bell curve, you get people that are not with their complete faculties or just fanatics, right? Like apparent, or just somehow lose their mind, like apparently Mr. Tellis did in committing this awful crime against Mr. German, the reporter. So it could have been anybody, I guess. But the point here isn't necessarily who committed the crime, it's how the coverage was reported. Because in no way, shape, or form does the mainstream media want to report that a Democrat killed a reporter. Because something like that only occurs in, like, as I said earlier, Russia or Mexico or Saudi Arabia. Democrats cannot in any way be portrayed as extremists. They would never, ever burn down cities like in 2020 and then pretend it didn't happen. No, Democrats don't do that. At least that's what the mainstream media wants you to believe. Hey, I'm Jack Gately. Well, John F. Gately, you can call me Jack. And I'm broadcasting to you from beautiful Plymouth, America's hometown, in Massachusetts. Most decidedly behind enemy lines. Have a great day. Bye-bye.